Chavdalid Amud Aleph, starting from a Meisvei. So we had a machlokes between Rav and Shmuel regarding the animal called Shesua. Shesua is an animal that has two backs and has two spines. And Rav felt that this animal can't exist, can't survive. So therefore, when the Torah prohibits it, based on a pasuk, the Torah prohibits it. It's prohibiting it before it's actually born. When it's in utero, if the mother is shechted, and you open up the animal and you find inside a shesua, so then that's also because it's impossible for it to survive. So the Torah can't be asering something that doesn't exist.
So it's an available already.
So when you open it up, you can eat the whole animal except for that fetus. That's Rav's interpretation. Shmuel says no, this animal can exist, and so when the Torah prohibits it, it's only after it's born. But if you shech the mother and you find this shesua inside, just like you can eat anything that's inside the animal, so this also. So we have a question now. We had one question from Rav's grandson on Rav, and he gave an answer. Now we have Meisvei. It says, Yesh be'ubrim shein nasurin. Chavdalid Amud Aleph. It's, like 7 lines from the bottom.
I got it.
Where, Chaim?
Here. Chavdalid,
Which,
24A3.
Right here. Bottom page.
So yes, we were. Yeah?
Yeah. There is such a thing that there's a fetus that's prohibited even after it's born. Ben arba ledaka. We said that a behima daka has the gestation period is 5 months. So if it's born after 4 months, that's considered a nafel, a miscarriage. Now you have to wait a certain amount of days. I think 8 days. It says you have to wait to see if it's going to survive it. Otherwise, naturally, you shouldn't shecht it. It's considered a nevela, even though it's alive. Ben shmeina legasa. 8 months for a large animal, because we said a large animal is 9 months, the gestation period. So if it's 8 months, also it's considered a nafel until you wait to make sure it survives. Heimen olamata. If it's any lower than that, here we have that problem with the comma. Which one are we referring to? We'll see later. Because you have 2 cases and you don't say which one you... Himeno lamata. From that and down, I guess either it means 3-2 or 7-6. So it's aser. So far, that's not the big deal. So far, everything is clear. The problem is that the next statement is very ambiguous. It says, this excludes someone that has two backs and 2 spines. My yatsu. What does it mean yatsu? That it's excluding. What is it excluding? We said that these were treif. It's saying that this is not treif. Lav yatsu mechlal ubrin shafil b'meyimin asurin. Maybe what the pshat is that these are, good morning, these are usher only after they're born. But when they're still in utero, they're fine if you shech the mother, right? If you shech the mother and you find a 8-month inside, it's a large animal, or a 4-month inside, you're allowed to eat it. But if you find a animal that has 2 backs and 2 spines, you're not allowed to eat it. So that's what it means yatsa. That's the difference between these animals. All right? Now, the problem with that is, shafilu b'me'iman asurin, is that would be a question on Shmuel. Shmuel says me'iman it's mutter. The Gemara says, there's 2 ways of reading this brisa. There's Rav mitarsa temei, Shmuel mitarsa temei. Rav can interpret it his way, and Shmuel can interpret it his way. Rav Metarza Tamei. Rav will explain this brisa that ben arba ledaka ben ches legasa, if it's a 4-month gestation for a small animal, 8-month for a large animal, heimeno lamata, from then and downwards, it's aser. Okay. This is what we're adding in now, according to Rav. When were these words said? When it was already born. But if it's still not born yet, then it's going to be mutter. That's excluding 2 backs and 2 spines, that even while it's inside the womb, it's aser. That's Rav's opinion, because Rav holds that this animal can't survive outside the womb, so if the Torah is prohibiting it, it's inside the womb. Remember what we're holding? Rav.
Question, is this related to the discussion of Tame and Tocher? Or is this just, since we're on the topic?
How did this come in? This came in because if a woman gives birth to an animal, not an animal, a woman gives birth to a fetus that has 2 backs and 2 spines. So there's a machlekes between Rav and Shmuel if the woman is tamei. And then we compared that to the animal. If an animal has this, is the animal kosher? That was the right? So Rav said that it's not considered the woman isn't tamei, and Shmuel says the woman is tamei. And then going over to the animal case, it's kosher in the animal, according to if you shech the mother and it's inside, and Rav says that it's not kosher. Okay, Shmuel, that was the big issue here. How's Shmuel going to explain this? Shmuel, we're on top of page Chav Daled Amid Beis. Shmuel Matar said to me, Shmuel explains it the following. Ben arba ledaka ben shmeina legasa. If there's a 4-month gestation period for a small animal, or an 8-month for a large animal, himeno mata aser. So far, so good. When do we say this? That's if it wasn't a complete pregnancy. But if it would have completed the pregnancy, then mutter. That would be mutter to eat. This is excluding 2 backs and 2 spines, that even if it is a complete pregnancy, so what we just did in the brisa is that we just said the contrast of incomplete pregnancy, but we added in, but if it would be a complete pregnancy, it would be fine. And that excludes the 2 backs and 2 spines, which is called hashasua. That excludes that type of animal, that would not be fine, even if it's a full pregnancy. Okay. But nevertheless, Shmuel still holds that in the womb, that's kosher. If it's an animal in the womb, it's kosher. Okay. Tani Tana Kamei de Rav. Tana taught in front of Rav.
So how does a person eat it if as soon as it comes into the airspace, it's usher? If it's kosher inside,
Yeah.
So where are you going to eat it?
You have
Inside?
you shech the mother,
Right.
and you find this animal inside,
Right.
then it's kosher.
Okay, so
It's only if it's born that it becomes not kosher.
Okay.
It's kosher like the rest of the animal. You can eat the lungs and the liver and the all of that if you want. So Tani Tanaka made the Rav Hamapelas Brias Guf Sheina Chatach Brias Reish Sheina Chatach. I don't know why the way Rashi put this gives me like this picture of Humpty Dumpty, but he has it like a circle. He's thinking like he's describing it like it's just one ball is coming out, that it doesn't have any limbs that are separated. So you say that it's flat, elachalak. It's flat. Okay, so the Tana teaches, Yachal tehi imay tmei aleida. Maybe the mother should be tamei for giving birth. Talmud Laima Isha Kisazriya V'Yalda Zachar V'Gaymer B'Yem Shemini Yimal. A woman will conceive and she'll give birth to a male, and on the 8th day will be the bris. So the Tana, this Tana that's saying the Brisa, Tana doesn't mean that he's one of the Tanoim. Tana means that he was in the yeshiva that memorized Brises, and that was the person that would recite them, like a Balkaira today or something. That was the comparable to the university library, because they had one person that memorized all the stuff. So the Tana says, Misharoy Lebrias Shmaina, someone that's eligible to have a bris on 8 days, Yatzer Elish Lebris Shmaina. It's not considered a birth, because it compares birth to bris. So if it's not going to be able to have a bris on its 8th day, because we're thinking it's not going to survive, so then it's not considered a birth either. Amar le Rav, so Rav tells him, V'siyam b'hachi, and throw this into the Brisa as well. V'sheish shnei gaban v'sheish joints, that's also not eligible. That's also not considered a birth, and that's for the same reason. 2 backs and 2 spines. Basically, that was the opinion of Rav, that this is not considered a birth. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba savar lemevar uvda kavasei de Shmuel. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba, he wanted to paskin like Shmuel. Someone was born with 2 backs, 2 spines, and Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba wanted the woman to be tamei, as if she gave birth. And Amalei Rav Huna tells Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba, I have the charts there. Yeah, let me use the charts. Okay, Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba is somewhere here. We don't have him on the chart. It's not the Rabbi Yirmiyah by Rabbi Yochanan. It's a different Rabbi Yirmiyah. It's an earlier Rabbi Yirmiyah.
Thank you.
So Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba is going to paskin like Shmuel l'chumra. He's going to be strict. Rav Huna, who's a student of Rav, meets Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba and says, "What are you doing? You paskin like Shmuel? You can't do that." Rav Huna again is a student of Rav, but he says like this: "My daitach l'chumra. You're just trying to be strict. Chumra dasil de kulahu. You're being strict, but you're actually being lenient." Because in those days, if a woman gave birth, so she was tummy for a certain amount of time, and then she was tar for a certain amount of time. So the fact that he made her tummy means that he's also making her tar, but that's a leniency that she's tar. It's called dam tayar, which is possibly 66 days that any blood that she sees doesn't make her tamei, or 33 days. So he's saying it's a chumad dasil de kula. Avid miya kavasei de Rav, just paskin like Rav. The kaimalan hilchasa karav b'surei, because we paskin like Rav in all matters of ritual law.
Is that a fact?
That we paskin like Rav.
Ben l'kula,
Bein lachumriya. That's
And Rabbi Yirmiyah didn't know that.
Rabbi Yirmiyah was being machmer.
Rabbi Yirmiyah was a student of Rav?
Probably a student of Shmuel, or maybe both. That's a good question. It's a good question. Someone has to search that up. Rabbi Yirmiyah is a student of Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba is the older Rabbi Yirmiyah. Okay. Amar Rava. Hari Amru. Isha Yeledes L'Tishav Yeledes L'Shiva. We said that a woman can give birth after 9 months, and she can give birth after 7 months. So what about behema gasa? We said Yeledis l'tisha, Yeledis l'shiva, or l'yalda. We said that 8 months is no good. But is there a 7th month? It's a good question. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak is the
Why do
later.
we care about an animal that does 7 or 9?
Well, if it gives birth in the 7th month, can you shecht it right away? Or do you consider it... Because we said, Himenu Olamata, anything less than that was considered a nevela, because it was considered a nefel, right? Now, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak is over here. He's next to Rav Papa. So he's a student of Rava. So Rava asked the question, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak is going to try to answer. Tashema, look at this. Come and listen. Himenu Olamata Aser. Himenu Olamata, from then and downwards, it's Aser. My lav agasa. If you look at it, it says a behemoth gasa, that means a large animal, was, if it gives birth after 8 months, Himenu Olamata is Aser. It's talking about the previous case that it was just referring to.
Here as Rabbi Yirmiyah.
Oh, is it Rabbi Yirmiyah or Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba?
Rabbi Yirmiyah.
That's Rabbi Yirmiyah with Rabbi Zera. See if there's Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba. This is an older Rabbi Yirmiyah. So, my love, Agasa, the Gemara says Layadaka. It's going back on the Daka, on the first case. This is really strange.
It doesn't say.
This is like Reuven and Shimon went to the store and he bought milk. So, and it's saying it's not Shimon that bought the milk, it's Reuven that bought the milk. So, this is we have the din with the Daka, that 4 months is not is a nevela, and at Gasa 8 months is a nevela. We said, but any less than that is also a nevela, and it's not talking about the Gasa. It's going back on the Daka. That's how the Gemara is learning. So this is a Haimai. 1 second. If you say it's explaining the Gasa, the large animal that normally gives birth after 9 months gestation, and you said that 8 months is going to be a miscarriage, and you say anything less than that is also a miscarriage. So salk itzrach, it's necessary to say that anything less than that is a miscarriage. Because salka dait chamin, I could have thought hayulu be isha chaye, bebehemen hamichaye. I could have thought that let's compare it to a woman. A woman that gives birth after 7 months, just it's zugezant. So after 7 months, it's zugezant. It's not a miscarriage because there is a possible pregnancy that's only a 7-month pregnancy. So we'll say the same thing by an animal. Kamash Malan the Brisa that says no, you don't say that. Kamash Malan the Leichai that it doesn't, that you don't say it. But if the whole Brisa is saying that any less than that is considered an avela, does the Brisa really need to tell me that an animal cannot give birth after 3 months? It says it's yes, it is necessary. I could have thought that anything that's 2 months less, well, it lives, because by a woman you have 9 months, and then you have 7 months. So we would say by a daka you have 5 months, and then you have 3 months. So I could have thought that that's how it works. Kamash Malan that it doesn't work like that, but we really don't have a proof the other way either. Okay. Get ready for the next Gemara. Rav Yida Amar Shmuel. Rav Yida says in the name of Shmuel, Hamapelas Demus Lilas. A woman gives birth to a child that looks like the demon that's called Lilas. Lilith. Probably not supposed to say the name unless we're learning. So, I don't know if it's an angel or whatever.
Was it the first woman?
The first woman? Yeah, in some sources it's considered the first woman. Yeah, look in Yonis and Ben Aziel. There's some strange things with Adam married.
Didn't she have
first?
She had an affair with Adam.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, this she comes up in many sources She's like the mother klipa, sort of. So,
Where you been?
it is nameless. Okay. So, what happens? This child comes out and it has wings, because remember, this is like a demon, so it has wings. So, imet me'aleda, the mother is tamei, because vladu ela sheyesh lekanafayim. It's a child that just has wings. It'll be able to travel faster.
Wow.
So, right, a jetpack. Tananami achi. Taisvis is bothered over here with what is the significance of this? We said that if the body is a goat and the face is a human, it's considered a human. That's what we learned yesterday. Now you're telling me that the whole body is human. It just has an extra wings. Why should that be any worse? Taisvis says that over there, it's not a goat and it's not really a man. And that's what we said over here. This is entirely leeless. This is the whole thing. So maybe we'd say it doesn't count, because this is really fully another entity. Okay, Tanya Nami Hachi. Amar Rabbi Yosi. Rabbi Yosi says, Maisa b'simaini, that's a place. There's a story in this place, Simaini. V'achal she'pila d'mas leeless. That hipila means it didn't survive. That's what it means, hipila. The woman had this miscarriage. It looked like leeless. And the story came to the Chachamim, and they said, Vladu, it's a child, but it has wings. Okay. Let's see one thing over here. This is Chavdalad.
No pictures.
No, I'm not going to find that. No, he doesn't
When
have
the
it.
Gemara says Maisa, that means usually there was an actual incident,
Right.
not just a
Right.
story.
Right.
So an actual
Right.
creation came like
Right.
this with wings.
Right. So it really happens. Okay. Hamapelst mus nachash. If a woman has miscarries, something that looks like a snake. So Hayra Chananya ben Achiv shel Rabbi Yeshua, Chananya, who's the nephew of Rabbi Yeshua, ben Achiv. Rabbi Yeshua is Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya. He's the Levi. Shayarim. He did the gate. He was one of the gate watchers. He had arguments with Rabbi Gamliel about Yom Kippur, about Ma'ariv, and
But he was still respectful. On his Yom Kippur, he went
yeah.
very humble.
Yeah. Ashri, he's the Ashri Yaladatay. Praised as his one who gave birth to his mother. Okay, so his brother's son is Hananya. And Hananya paskins about this case. He says, Imit Me'aleda, the mother's tummy. So Halach Rabbi Yosef, V'sipadaram V'fnei Rabbi Gamliel.
What's the deal
They
with
say
Rabbi
that it can't be Rabbi Yosef. They say it must be Rabbi Yosi. Because we don't have any Tana that's Rabbi Yosef.
I think there's two different people, because it says over here it's Rabbi Chanina ben Achiv, and over here it says by Rabbi Yoshua, it says Rabbi Yoshua ben Chananya.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a different person.
Yeah, Rabbi Shua ben Chananya.
Okay, but then over here it says this is Rabbi
Chanina is the nephew.
Chanina.
Is the nephew of Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya.
Oh, right. But I'm saying it says over here Chanina in the Gemara.
Yeah. Chanina is the nephew of Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya.
Okay.
So Rabbi Yosi probably.
Why does he tell it that?
He goes, the Sipur Dvarim L'fnei Rabbi Gamliel. That we have to look into. He goes and he tells Rabbi Gamliel what this fellow paskin. In the other story, remember, it was Reb Shimon Bar Yochai.
Yes.
And the Gemara doesn't tell us that till the end. The Gemara says, "But you say Talmud Reb Shimon Bar Yochai haya." That's the Gemara Brachas concludes. Here it says no. Rabbi Yossi went and tells Rabbi Gamliel, you hear what's going on? He paskin that the mother's tummy. Shalach lai Rabbi Yeshua li Rabbi Yeshua. He sends to Rabbi Yeshua, Hanig bach achicha, Hanig ben achicha uba. Join your nephew and come because you have to explain yourself. I don't know why
Was
Rabbi
he
Yeshua gets
disagreeing?
Why is it his problem?
Why is it his problem? I don't know.
Was he disagreeing?
That's what it sounds like. You'll see in a second.
It's obvious that if his nephew said something, it has to be in the name of Rabbi Yeshua. I mean, like, where's his nephew going to get his authority to
Maybe it was in the
halacha?
yeshiva. But anyway, Rabbi Yeshua is getting,
He's getting flat slapped over here.
yeah. This is like getting called into school for the children this year. Yeah. Like meeting with the parents. So, on the way out, there's several generations here. Hananya, his nephew's daughter-in-law, is walking outside, and they see the daughter-in-law of Hananya. So Amralai, she says to him, Rebbe, Hamapelas k'min nachash mahu. She calls to her father-in-law's
She was
uncle.
worried over the kpeda.
What about if someone gives birth to something that looks like a nachash? Amar Allah, Rabbi Yeshua says, Imay Tahira, the mother's tar. Amar Allah, she says to him, but my mother-in-law,
Who's his daughter-in-law?
who is not his daughter-in-law, who is his niece possibly through a
Niece-in-law.
marriage. Yeah. So told me that you said that it's tamei. Va'amar so Rabbi Yeshua says, Me'ezeh tam? What was the reason? It says, Hayol v'galgalei nayagol because the eye is round like a human eye. So M'toich nisker Rabbi Yeshua says, Rabbi Yeshua says, you're right, I did say that. So Shalach loy l'Rabbi Gamliel, he sends Rabbi Gamliel mipi Hananya. He paskin that because of me, and now that was
So he didn't have to
satisfactory.
go then?
Now he doesn't have to go. Amar Abaya says Shema minat tzuvah merabanan. This teaches us that a Talmud Chacham Damer Milsa that he's paskin to halacha lema bataima. He should say the reason why. The chimidka lemidka, so that if they remind him of what he said, he'll remember. He doesn't say the reason. You won't remember the logic in that. Someone told me they went to a shlachters, and there was a shaila there. And the mashkiach and the shlachters started to quote the phrase of what that case was, but he just concluded it wrong. He said instead of kosher, he said aser or something. And the person that was visiting was learning that topic, and he realized the person, he's quoting everything except that the final conclusion, he got it wrong. So he said, you see, you have to learn it deeper than that. If you just learn to memorize, you make one mistake, you'll go from yes to no. But if you remember the logic, so then you remember it much better. You know that would be an impossibility to say it like that. Okay.
It's like the story of the Rambam.
The Rambam with?
The story of the Rambam.
With his
story about sending a horse after a person because he forgot the reason for his paskin, and he said he regretted that he didn't
put it in
footnote or give sources.
Hamapelish Shpir, we have a Mishnah. The woman miscarries this is a placenta. Moli mayim. It just has water in it. Well, the shilya is the placenta. The Shpir is a
It calls it a gestational sac.
A sack. And it's full of water. Moli dam, or it's full of blood.
I don't remember whether we talked about this before.
We did have this.
Grasshoppers.
Right. Moli gnunim. If it's full of liquid, liquid that has color. Ginunim, Rashi says, is gavnim. It's colored fluids. Eina chesheshes leblad. You don't have to be concerned that this is that there's a child there. Vim haya merukam, but if it has the form of a child, of a fetus, I mean, it's like hands and feet, and it has the shape. Teishev l'zachar l'nekeva. Then you have to keep the stringencies that maybe it's a male and maybe it's a female. In other words, this would be a real birth.
With twins, right?
The next one, Hamapela sandal. If she gives birth to a sandal, sandal is one that's like totally squished, that doesn't have any form, and that's usually because there's a twin there that developed stronger than this one, and it squishes the other one. So this one comes out. We have to see why. If one came out, then the other one should have come out as well. Why is this an issue? We'll see why later.
It says over here that the sandal is like there's a fish called a sandal fish, and that's what it looks like. Fetus.
Oh, this is what Dr. Abramson was talking about. This, the flounder, he said, was a sandal because it's flat. Okay, a shilia or a placenta. So teishav l'zachal nekeva. Then you have to assume that there was a birth, a real birth, and you have to keep